Is there a link between apps and robots? Hey mga ka-try, welcome back to Apps to Try, and it's now our 6th episode. Last week, we talked about a developer's perspective on apps. We learned about what mobile apps are and how they're made. But today, we'll be looking at how apps integrate with robots. Have you ever wondered how robots are programmed and controlled? Well, to answer this, let's interview a special guest, the president of Try Media and our resident roboticist, Mr. Julius Malyari. Hi, Sir Julius. How are you po during this time?
Eto, okay naman. Kumusta ka dyan, Gabe?
Okay din po. Kamusta po? So, if for those viewers who don't know what robotics are or what robots are and what is robotics, you can check out Sir Julius' show, Try Robotics, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. here on Try Media's Facebook page. And his videos are also available on YouTube. Now, Sir Julius, just want to ask you, what do you do as a roboticist?
Sa field kasi ng robotics, Gabe, it's very, very broad. So, you get to know about electronics, merong involved na physics, may involved na programming, engineering, and a lot of different disciplines. So, ako personally, I do electronics. I design my own circuit boards. I design my own robots. So, ibig sabihin nun, I do the hardware, and then I program my own robots. Ang tawag doon is firmware. And then if there are applications, high-level applications, which is called softwares, na kailangan sa isang project, I do that too. No, hindi naman ganun kalawak kasi some other people who are more expert in applications or in software side, they can do theirs as well. But it's enough that I have a basic understanding about how to do both the hardware, the firmware, and the software.
Wow, those are all very impressive po. Next question po is there a link between software and the apps and robotics? Tulad po na sinabi niyo, you were saying something about firmware and software. What is the link po between those two?
Yung firmware kasi, it's actually a program na sinusulat natin to be able to make the robots to do its thing. So unlike sa computer, when we make a program that runs on our computer, that is called software. Pero when we make a program that runs on our robot, that is called the firmware. And yes, there's a very close link between the two of them. Kasi firmware and software can talk, no? For example, I need to send yung sensor values na nababasa ng firmware ko na nasa robot. Isisend ko siya sa web or isisend ko siya doon sa server. So they have to talk, yung firmware at saka yung software, they have to talk. And meron silang iba't ibang communication protocols na ginagamit. Pwedeng wireless, pwedeng wired, madami. So, very, very connected sila. And yes, kagaya ng sinabi ko, with robotics, there's a lot of software or programmings involved as well.
Alright. How about mobile apps po? Is there a connection between mobile apps and robotics?
Oo, actually maraming mga dinevelop na ng mga mobile applications ngayon na even using your mobile device, you would be able to program robots. That's one, no? Secondly, ngayon marami yung gumagamit ng smartphones. I do that as well. I use my smartphone to control my robot. I use my smartphone as a remote control para makontrol ko yung robot ko using Bluetooth connection or minsan Wi-Fi. So, yeah, I personally use that as well. And dami-dami at ang ganda-ganda, very powerful yung magagawa natin using mobile applications to control our robots.
Wow. How about programming? We talked about programming earlier, and you said that it takes writing of software to write the firmware to control the robot po, ano? Can you show us an example of how robots are programmed?
Sure. Dun sa show ko sa Try Robotics, ang ginagamit ko doon is Block kasi ang design nun is yung Try Robotics kasi is pang mga estudyante na nasa K-12 program, especially yung nasa STEM strand. So I'll show you my screen dun sa application na ginagamit ko dun sa show. Kita mo
wow. Mukhang advanced.
Okay, so ito yung Block, yung itong side na to, makikita mo on the left. And then on the right side, ito naman yung Arduino program. So usually for hindi a little bit advanced sa robotics, ito na yung ginagamit. So as you can see, it's C++ program. So dyan kami nagpo-program. Pero if you're a kid, if you're new into robotics, Block is very much suggested kasi ang dali-dali niyang gamitin. As you can see, ayan blocks lang siya, then drag and drop para ka lang bumubuo ng jigsaw puzzle. That's why very very useful ito sa mga bata kasi nga ang dali-dali niyang gamitin para ka lang naglalaro.
Wow, it's very very interactive, and you can see how it's like building blocks in Lego in robotics form. So this is C++ ang nabanggit nyo. Are there other programming languages po used for robotics?
Yes. Ang pinakagamit talaga are C and C++. Pero Python can also be used sa pagpo-program ng robots on the robot side. Pero pagdating doon sa higher level, then you can choose your own programming language.
Okay po. So, how can I get into robotics? Mga interested viewers there who want to get into robotics, want to make a robot or program a robot or build a robot, the hardware, the software, the firmware. So where do we start po?
Ako kasi Gabe, fan ako ng learning by doing. Ibig sabihin, if you want to learn something, you really have to do it kasi that is the best way to really learn something. So for example, with robotics, kung gusto mo talagang matuto ng robots, you can decide ano yung una mong gustong matutunan. Do you want to learn the hardware? Then buy specific parts. Pili ka ng motors, pili ka ng motor drivers, pili ka ng controllers, and then buuin mo siya. Then you have the robot hardware. Ngayon, if you're interested sa pag-program lang muna on the firmware side, merong available na nabibili online like this one, itong K-12 robot. Ito rin yung ginagamit natin sa Try Robotics segments and shows. Very very cheap, 1,450. I got this from Shopee. You can also get this from the official store, which is the eGizmo. Sila yung nag-manufacture nito. Made in the Philippines, designed in the Philippines. Dito rin ginagawa. And yun. So, ang maganda nito, buo na. So, hindi nasasakit yung ulo mo sa pagbuo. Kasi marami sa mga nag-start ng robotics, pag sumakit yung ulo mo at nagsisimula ka pa lang, medyo tatamarin ka. Pero kung buo na, and then aaralin mo na lang kung paano siya i-program, okay din yon. And then kapag marunong ka na, alam mo na kung paano siya i-program, then pwede mo siyang kalasin unti-unti, and then pag natutunan mo na yung inner parts ng hardware, pwede ka na gumawa ng sarili mong robots kagaya nito. Ang backbone nito is parehas lang nila nitong K-12 robot. So ibig sabihin, this robot, although magkaiba sila, ginawa ko lang to. Pero the way I program itong K-12 robot na binili ko, ganun din yung paraan ng program nitong isa. Kaya once you do that, you'll enjoy more yung robotics. Ang nakakatuwa kasi sa robotics game, as you start, gawa ka lang ng mga simpleng bagay like turning on an LED and that. and you will really enjoy it. At kapag na-enjoy mo na siya unti-unti, you'll learn deeper, you'll learn more, at as you learn deeper, mas mai-enjoy mo yung robotics.
Wow, thank you so much for that. One more app that we would like to look into. Can you share with us maybe an app that we can try? Maybe the viewers can try a mobile app for controlling robots. Sabi nyo nga po, we can use our phones to control yung robots, parang remote control. Can you share one that's maybe available on the Play Store or the App Store right now?
Yes, actually, if you search App Store or Play Store, ang daming available. Just type robots or robot control, Bluetooth control. Ang daming lalabas na mga available na mga applications, mobile applications. Pero ako personally, I use this, itong Bluetooth RC controller. Ang dali niya kasing gamitin. This one would allow you to connect, pag kinlik mo yan, it would allow you to connect to your robot via Bluetooth. So itong K-12 robot natin, pwede mo siyang kabitan ng Bluetooth module, and then makokontrol mo na siya using your mobile phone installed itong application na ito.
Napaka-interesting po talaga nitong mga pinapakita natin sa mga viewers natin. Alright, so is there an age limit po that we can is there an age limit to robotics?
May mga nakikita ako na nagpo-post sa internet like YouTube, ganyan. As early as 8 years old, 8-10 years old, they already started learning robotics. So as long as you know how to operate your computer, then pwede na.
Wow. So we don't need to be a genius po to start being a roboticist. For those who don't know about your show po, could you let us know more about your show?
Ayun, dun po sa mga interested na matuto ng robotics, hanapin nyo lang po, Try Robotics. It's available on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Nasa episode 9 na po kami this week. Next week will be episode 10. At it's a series of tutorials about robotics designed for K-12 students. At marami po kayong matututunan doon. You will see how you will enjoy learning yung robotics, and ang idea natin is learning by doing. And yun nga, kagaya nga ng sinabi ko, it's always best na kung gusto niyo talagang matuto ng robotics is to really get one, kasi sabi nga nung show natin, you'll never know unless you try.
Wow. All right. So that is a good magandang investment of our time to try and learn something new during this time of quarantine. And why not try robotics? There are so many apps out there. Thank you so much, Sir Julius. Would you like to shout out to anyone to give a shout out po to anyone?
Yes, shout out sa lahat ng mga followers ng Try Robotics show, and sa lahat ng mga groups sa Facebook, Arduino groups, robotics groups, tsaka STEM groups, sa mga kasamahan ko sa Phil Robotics. Hello sa inyo. And syempre to my ever supportive and loving wife, Tina.
That was Sir Julius Malyari, our resident roboticist and president of Try PH Media. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and as well as like our Facebook page, Try PH Media, to see more videos about this. Are there any things that you want to see in the next episode? Are there any apps that you want us to check out? Please leave them in the comments below. And again, I'm Gabe Robles, and I'll see you in the next one.